There we go. These are all the people that like the best behaved people who are all like absolutely bang on time, like to the minute. People are in the waiting room. I mean, the big shout out goes to George, who was in 2 minutes early. Let's admit Magella as well. There we go. Let's get everyone piling in. George, you're top of my class, mate. You're in the waiting room first of all. Captain Keen, ready to go. So well done, you mate.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so keen, so keen. You're the legend. You're the legend, so I wanted to get on it.
Oh, well, very kind of you to say. Very kind of you. Rob, how you doing? There we go.
All good. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Fantastic. Nice to see you too. Excellent. If you want to put your webcam on, be nice to see you all, obviously. I'm sure most of you are probably eating lunch because it's 1 o'clock on a weekday, so rightly so. But if you're not eating lunch at all, obviously turn your webcam on. I would love to see you, goes without saying. So that'd be good. Right. We'll just give it 30 seconds because I can see more people are just joining now. There we go. Jane's just going to appear in a second. Da, da, da. Magella is traveling. That's absolutely fine, Magella. You are an international department already over in Ireland, so the fact you're traveling makes it even cooler. So, of course, you are more than welcome. Just going to be slightly invisible on the vehicle. That's absolutely fine. Right, let me just admit these final people, and then we're ready to rock and roll. There we go. Oh, even Nikki Strachan's joined us as well. Blimey, get loads of people coming. Good, excellent. Right, I think that should be everybody all admitted, but I will probably admit some more people as we go through. Shanae, congratulations. I've just made you the host. So if anyone pops in, just admit them in. That'd be great. Thank you very much.
All
Right.
good.
So first of all, thank you for all being on time. I'm very aware it's a Thursday lunchtime. It's rainy because it's the end of summer in the UK. So thank you all for turning up on time. That is very kind of you. All makes proceedings a lot easier and a lot more flowing on that side of things. So before, when you registered for the video call today, there's a little box to fill in at the very bottom, basically saying what's the number one takeaway or bit of information you'd like to take away from today's video call. And it was pretty much a landslide on lead generation, lead generation, lead generation, lead generation. So as if by magic, I thought that we would do a video call all about lead generation, because obviously I want to make sure as many of you as possible get as much value as we possibly can do from today. So very much focused on that, as you might imagine. Right, so let me get everything all ready to rock and roll. So let's start off with, so we know we want to get more leads into our business. So we know we want more leads, more valuations, more instructions, etc. So that's what we want today. But let's fast forward slightly and kind of get an idea about what the actual goal is here. And this is going to be different from each of you. So there's going to be no sort of right or wrong answer here. So answers in the chat. This is designed to be a two-way sort of webinar, because if it's me talking for an hour, I'll jump out the window. So I want to be as little talking as possible. So answers in the chat. What is your goal for your business, either within the next 12 months or a couple of years? Effectively, where do you want to get to in a year's time where you can look back and go, great, I'm listing X amount of properties every month, or I'm selling this many properties per month, or I've completed £100,000 worth of commission, whatever it may be. There's no right or wrong answer here. It's whatever you think your business is up to at the moment. So answers in the chat. And then I can either deny or confirm that I might be picking on people, depending on what their answers are. So Nikki, 50% growth in 12 months. Knowing you, Nikki, that'll be a walk in the park. Have that done in like 12 weeks. Good. Robin, fantastic. Listing 5 properties per month. Keep them coming. The 3 leads directly to me every week. So that's kind of like a recommendation referral sort of thing. At least 3 instructions a month minimum. Okay, right. Rob, we're going to pick on you if that's all right. So come off mute.
Pick
You're, you're,
away.
you're the slowest typer, so therefore you've thrown yourself.
Okay.
So you're fairly new and you've kind of just launched in the business side of things, which is good. You've kind of, the only way is up effectively. So you want to get to the stage of having 3 instructions per month into your business. So how does that look? Is that with regard to selling a certain amount and having a certain amount of income off the back of it? What are you looking to kind of get out of that effectively? Because it's great listing properties, but obviously you want to make some money.
Sure. Okay. So the plan is, see, as recommended in a book that I've just received lately.
Hey.
Thank you. Um, Look, yes, getting to 100 grand would be amazing. I would settle for a little bit less than that initially, but in terms of trying to work out how many listings I want to get to that amount of money and how many appraisals I need to get, and just trying to put the structure in together. I imagine realistically to get 3 instructions, I need to be hitting out to at least 12 appraisals a
Okay.
month. And just looking to share best practices, really, getting information from you guys, getting some leaflets designed because we want to get the word out there, but just
Yep.
want to make sure just taking on board all the best advice I can, really, as
Cool.
to
Absolutely.
any suggestions.
That all sounds really good. So the thing I'd be very aware of, and this probably goes for, because there's quite a few people I can see on the video call who are fairly new to sort of to launching at the moment. It's more stressful for yourself to have a small business than it is to have a slightly bigger business. And what I mean by that is that, let's say, for example, your goal is to, because if you were listing 3 properties per month, for example, you're probably selling 1 or 2. Let's kind of get in that sort of ballpark. So if you had a fall through, for example, or a vendor you thought was going to come on the market yourself suddenly changed their mind and didn't come on the market yourself, that's a bit of a kick in the nuts, if you excuse the expression. Whereas if you had a slightly larger business, it would be diluted down slightly. So let's say, for example, instead of saying, I'm not kind of pushing you to the moon here, Rob, but let's say, for example, you went, okay, I'm going to say I'm going to get 5 instructions per month, for example. Great, you should be looking to sell 2 or 3 of those. If one of them fell out of bed every month, yes, it's a bit of a kick, but it's not an absolute crippler sort of thing. So that's how I'd look at on that sort of thing. So actually, what you want to do with your business when you're looking at your goals going forward for the future, don't sort of set yourself down here because you find you kind of bottom out quite quickly with regard to the business. And some months you're either going, right, I'm surviving and I'm doing okay and this is all right sort of thing, or I'm getting nothing. The most common thing that people want to replace in their work is they want to have a self-employed business and they want to replace their salary. So lots of people stand there and go, well, if I just earn 3 grand, which I was earning when I worked at wherever it was before, then I'll be happy with that. But unfortunately, in the property world, that's probably listing or selling 1 property per month, which is great when it's happening. But if it doesn't happen, it's a real kick. So actually, you're better off kind of just bumping that up slightly. And the good news is to go from sort of 3 instructions per month to kind of 5 instructions per month won't be a huge amount of extra work from what you're doing at the moment. Cool. Good. So what I'd like to everyone to do is to work their goal back. So exactly as Rob has done there, into market appraisals they need in their business on a monthly basis. So if you want a really easy way of doing this, once you know how many properties you are going to sell every month, if you times that number by 8, that basically gives you a market appraisal number. Because what you're looking at there is if you're going to sell 1 property, you probably need to have 2 for sale. And to get 2 for sale, you probably need another 4 market appraisals off the back of it. So if you just times that first number by how many properties you want to have go through, times that by 8, that'll give you the number of market appraisals you need per month or per year, depending on how long you put your timescale for. So, oh, Rob, you're quick. I was going to say answers in the chat. Answers in the chat. How many, be like Rob, answers in the chat. How many market appraisals you need to have in your diary every, break it down to month so everyone's on the same page here, and then put it in the chat. It's going to be like a test of how good everyone is at their 8 times table. I'm not sure 20 is divisible by 8, Nikki, but we'll go with that. So 28, great. 16 to 20, 16. 16, 20. Cool, okay. So this is kind of the real test then, is kind of seeing how far you are from that you are at the moment. How many market appraisals you're getting into your business at the moment. So if you looked at last month, for example, how many are you getting in at the moment? Okay, 3. George has got 12. Okay, so George is at 12 and wants to get to 28. So we need to kind of, let's call it double. Let's be kind of keep my maths nice and simple there. You need to double the amount of market appraisal you need to get in the business. Holly, is that 25 you're getting at the moment or 25 you want to? Getting, okay. And how many do you want to get? How many do you need to get with if you go for your target? What's the big number? More. Classic Holly answer. If in doubt, just get more. So hopefully what we look at there is the difference between where we are today. So Ashley's bang on there is getting 3 market appraisals per month at the moment, and we need to get to 15/18 sort of direction. So we need to times that by 5, roughly speaking, /6 to get to where Ashley wants to be on that sort of things. So that is setting kind of where we are today and where we want to be in the future. So that's good. So the good news is we've got a hard goal in the business now. We've got a hard goal, which is basically saying our goal by 12 months time, 6 months time, whatever the remit is, I need to be getting 15 market appraisals in my business, which means that in 13 months' time, we can look back and either go, yes, we've achieved that, or no, we haven't achieved that. One of the things that many agents they fall into is they want to become the most recommended, for example. Well, are you the most recommended? Are you not the most recommended? I want to have a bigger estate agent. Well, how much bigger? It's sort of this very soft goal approach. So what we're trying to do here is have hard goals for your business to say, this is where I am today, and this is where I want to be in the future. So what we're now going to do is basically set a path between those two. Because we know where we want to get to now and where we are today. Well, let's sort of make a route that we can then follow into the future from there. So let's have a quick look where we're up to. Let's do a bit of screen sharing, shall we? Oh, I need to ask the host for permission to share my screen. Sinead, this is a humbling moment. Could you please go down to the very bottom where it says share screen, and next to it is a little arrow, and then you get a little pop-up box, and you can pay on there, say anyone can share their screen. If you could then press that, that'd be great. Thank you very much. Perfect. Thank you.
Sorted.
Thank you very much. There we go. Right. So let's minimize that. What have we got here? Allow for 1 month, whatever that is. Right. So we are working through today this basically in a very basic form. So this is for the majority of you where most of your wins can be made, but it's also where you're struggling with at the moment. So this is the front end sales funnel of your business. So effectively what we're looking at, there's various parts to this. So we've talked about already about number of market appraisals. So if you look at the second from bottom sort of section, we are saying that we wanted to get in 15 market appraisals, for example. I think one of the answers was there, or 5 market appraisals, or 10 market appraisals. Actually, you can then work backwards throughout the sales funnel, actually work out how many people you need to be in communication with to get to that number. So let's make my maths here very, very easy. So let's say, for example, we said that to hit our goal, we need to get 10 market appraisals per month. Great. Well, if I times 30 by 5, because obviously you've got 2 market appraisals on the second to last row, times that by 5, great, 30 times 5, if I have 150 conversations in my business every month with strangers, effectively, I will get that out the bottom. So we can see we're breaking it down even further. So we've gone from a large goal of I want to get to £100,000, whatever it may be. We've then taken that down to how many market appraisals we need to actually get that figure. And now we're taking it even further just to how many people we need to talk to get that into our business. So you can kind of make this kind of dilute it down as far as you possibly can do to show exactly what you need to do to get in front of that many people. The one thing that I would say is that has come as a surprise to me with all businesses is how much marketing you need to do for people to know who you are. For you, your business is a big part of your life. It's, 50% of your life, it's 90% of your life, whatever it may be. But to the general public, you are 0.0001% of their life. You probably peak at about 2% of their life when you're actually listing and selling their property. But outside of that, you are a very small fish in their mind. So you need to do a lot of marketing, in fact, a lot more than you might think, to get in front of people and actually make an impression where they're like, aren't you that estate agent, Rob? Or I think I've seen your Facebook ad, George, or I think I saw your video online yesterday. That's going to take a lot more than you expect it actually to in the grand scheme of things. So for the majority of people on the video call today, the main win for yourselves is do a lot more marketing. That is probably the if you take nothing else from this video call today and just go, Chris says do a lot more marketing, you're probably on the right sort of track. Because I have no doubt that a lot of you are very, very good estate agents that if you get in front of enough people, you'll smash it out of the park. But at the moment, I imagine a lot of you are kind of best kept secret estate agents, which means that you're just not known in the local area. So marketing wise, more is better on that sort of things. So we now know what our goal is. We know how many market appraisals we need to get our goal, and also how many people we need to individually talk to then get to that goal as well. So effectively, our mission now is how do we get in front of that many people? How do we get in front of that many people? And also, how do we get the best conversion possible to go off the back of that? So what we're going to look at now is the amount of marketing you need to do to get the numbers that you want to get to. Now, spoiler alert here, this is going to be slightly higher than you expect, I would imagine. So for those of you who have read your first £100,000 estate agency, this shouldn't be particularly new to yourselves. So what I'd like you to do is to pick your favorite one of these. Now, if you go towards the top of the list, towards the top of the sort of the ice cream cone, it's a lot of work. So as an idea, I get about 25,000 impressions on my social media account every week at the moment. It's taken me a year and a half of posting twice a day on every platform under the sun to get to that sort of point. So if you think you don't do social media at the moment and think, oh, I might go for that 25,000 impressions on social media because that sounds quite easy. It isn't. It's going to take a long time. So pick one from here that you think, actually, I can do that and I can stick to that. The lower you are down this, the more direct your source is going to be to getting an instruction. So, for example, if someone held a gun to my head today and said, Chris, get some instructions for ourselves, I would start with door knocking because it converts at 1 in 20. So, what I'd like you to do is the one of these is a market appraisal. So, for example, deliver 1,000 leaflets, you'll get one market appraisal. So what I'd like you to do is multiply up the number of market appraisals you want to get per month by the number of the marketing method you are choosing. So you're going to need a calculator for this bit, unless your math is really good, or the 1,000 one's quite easy. But if you look at it and go, great, I want to get 10 market appraisals per month, and I'm going to go door knocking, for example, you can go, right, well, I'm going to knock on 200 doors over a month. That should deliver the result I want. So this is probably going to be a slightly higher slash scarier figure than you are hoping. And once you've got that figure, put that figure in the chat. And then say what the marketing category is. So, for example, I need to knock 200 doors. I need to deliver general withdrawn letter, 1,000 of those a month, or whatever the number is. Put the answer in the chat. When I start to see people typing, I'll stop my screen share because it means that everyone's got the figures in front of them. If you do want to take a picture of this at all, feel free. So you've got it kind of going forward. It is in the book. It is on various things as well. Right, I can see my chat button lighting up, which means I think I can stop screen sharing now. Going, gone. Right, so let's have a look. 320 doors to knock. Cool. Fantastic. So Rob Spacey's saying that he does 10 doors a day. There we go. That's quite an easy one to work out. Thanks for making my maths nice and easy on that one, Rob. That's much appreciated. Kevin, so 480 specific withdrawn letters. So specific withdrawn letters are going to take a little bit of extra work because obviously specific withdrawn letters, you need to find the buyers first of all, and then write the letters to the actual property. So 480 is absolutely doable, but it's going to take a little bit of work up front. So that's why they convert so much better than the general withdrawn letter. The general withdrawn letter is more of a sort of hit and hope. You were on the market some time ago. Do you fancy coming back on again? Whereas the specific withdrawn, you have to do a bit of homework in front to find the buyer, show them the details, then write those individual properties. But absolutely doable. And if there's one bit of good news on there as well, the 1 in 20 conversion for that is probably a bit pessimistic. I would say it's probably more like 1 in 10. So actually, 7,500 for sale in your area VIP letters. Yep, there you go. And from a man that has delivered many, 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 many leaflets and letters in his career, you look at doing about 100 of those per hour. So there you go, 75 hours worth of doing that. You start to see why people outsource their leaflet delivery quite quickly before their trainers run out. Yeah, bulk letters, 40,000. Yeah, that's not a shocker at all there. So as you can see, a lot of marketing needs to go out in your business before you start getting notes off the back of it. The really good news is that 1 + 1 can equal 3. And what I mean by that is if you're really good at door knocking and you do the social media as well, actually that boosts you up a lot more than just doing those things individually. So this is where you kind of need to be omnipresent with your marketing and sort of do everything. Because if people see you on social media and they also get the letter from you and they get the door knock from you, that converts in a much better way than just purely doing the door knocking alone, for example. So this is why you kind of need to be, especially when you first launch, you need to do everything and be quite good at everything so that in the future you can back the winners and ditch the losers. Because I'm sure no one here wants to be door knocking well into their 90s, for example. So they'd rather kind of do it, get it done, get to a good level of business, outsource it, kind of move on from there. Anyone surprised by how big their figure is? Put your answer in the chat, either a yes or a no, or a Y or an N if you're feeling super lazy on it. About how that sort of stacks up, because usually that's a lot bigger figure than people expect it to be. Yeah, scary. Yeah, absolutely right. But it's what you need to do to make sure you are noticed in your local area. So, for those of you who joined the first video call, so Holly, I know you were on our first video call last time. So the average estate agent is up against 12 other estate agents at any one time. So if you're in any town in the UK, the average number of kind of competition out there is going to be 12. The average person in the high street can name 3 estate agents. So terrible news. You've got a 1 in 4 chance of even being picked at the best just from being known effectively. So in that situation, you can see that half the battle you've got, in fact, even more than half the battle you've got, is actually how do we get known in the first place in our local area? So how do we go, actually, when people think about property and think about selling, they think about George, they think about Holly, they think about Rob. That's where we need to get to with it. So your options here are either to do more marketing. So we do more marketing in our core area and we kind of like hammer it as much as we possibly can do. The other option is we do a smaller area. My advice, especially if you're first launching, is to do a smaller area. So answers in the chat, what area do you cover at the moment? Not a trick question, I promise. Here we go. PO13 cows, yeah, Ollowite massive. Fantastic. Nottinghamshire, Peterborough, Harrogate. Yeah, fantastic. Right, now I'm going to ask you another question. How many households do you cover? So George has got it already. So 5,500 homes. George is on it. Too many. Right, I'm going to copy and paste a website in the chat. There we go. Really easy way of finding out how many households you cover as a business. If you are a one-person band, you should be looking to cover 5,000 households per sales member of staff in your business. So if it's you on your own, then 5,000 should be the answer. If it's you and an administrator, for example, 5,000 is still the answer. But if you've got 2 salespeople, then 10,000 is absolutely fine. So 5,000 for every salesperson in the business. We are not trying to cover the entire town. You know, the golden number we're trying to get to here is about 11 marketing touch points. So if we cover 100,000 households, like Lewis has mentioned there, that's 1.1 million marketing touch points we need to deploy in the town for people to actually know who we are. If anyone's budget here covers 1.1 million marketing touch points, well done you, but I think you're probably the minority on that situation. So what we're looking to do here is just shrink that down. So what I recommend you do, I put a link in the chat to a website. Go on there, enter the postcode for the areas you cover. And in the top right-hand corner, it will tell you how many households are in each of those areas. So what we're looking for here, Holly's just looked up how many households she's covering. Holly, come off mute. How many households is it?
85,500.
Oh, is that all? Okay.
If
That's
it,
good.
in fact, it's probably more than that because that's just York, and I cover the surrounding area as well. I wanted to be greedy, you know me, Chris. Um,
Gotta have it all.
yeah, apparently so. That's too many.
So how many, so you've got a team with you, Holly. So how many people are in your
Uh-huh.
team at the moment?
There's me, Sophie, negotiator full time, and a part time,
Okay.
so two and a half.
Okay, so you're probably looking at 25,000, 30,000, maybe at a push in that sort of direction. So
Yes.
that's probably where you're looking for. So shrink, 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 shrink,
Yeah.
shrink. Even if you are the most famous person in social media in York.
Ha
So
ha ha ha. Thanks.
yeah, more than welcome. Good, fine. So everyone should have a good idea now, actually, how they can make more of an impression in their local area by reducing that down. You know, if you don't want to be, a tiny speck on the radar to a lot of people, we want to be a big deal to not many people where they're like, bloody hell, if you want to sell a house, George is a guy. I see him on social media all the time. Or George is a guy because I get left from him every couple of weeks or so. George has got a board up at the end of the street. That's where we're looking to get for. Right. So we've done a very quick recap. We've done goals in the business, where we are today, where we want to be in the future. Good place to start. We've also done how many market appraisals we need to get off the back of it, and also how we can look to generate and how much marketing we need to deploy to get in front of those people. So we've looked at the geographic side of things. Now let's look at the demographic side of things. So we're looking at where people live and who is our ideal sort of client. So wave your hands frantically if you're established estate agent already and you've got clients and things are happening, you've got listings and sales, etc. Well, there we go. Fantastic. Well, I've had a little thumbs up appear on my screen. How clever. So for Holly and George in particular on this one, before waving your hands, you can do this as a practical exercise. And for everybody else, in about 6 months' time, you should do exactly this. And the longer the time scale is you do it over, the better it's going to be. What you want to do is write out 3 lists. So list number one is of your completions over the last year, 2 years, 6 months, obviously longer the time scale, the better. Who has brought you in the most money into your business? So basically, who is giving you the biggest invoice? Now, this needs to be properties that have sold and completed. If you've got a £6 million house on the market, but it's on the market for the last 2 years or so, that does not count in any way, shape, or form. It needs to be sort of real money as opposed to sort of Mickey Mouse money at some point in the future, if maybe it sells. So number one is money. Number two is how easy was it to fulfill? So basically, how quickly did it sell? So you put it on the market on Monday, Craig David sold it on Saturday. Great, that's fantastic. That's a good result. That's an easy one to do. So that's a big tick next to that one. And then finally, which clients did you get on with the best? So which ones did you actually really enjoy working with? They were nice people. You didn't get your vendor update and think, oh my God, I've got to phone Mrs. Jones. She's horrible. Those people. So put that in a ranking order. So it might be top 10, for example, or top 20, or depending on how many you do. Give each of those a number for how high they rank. So if someone was your highest income, for example, put a number 1 next to it. If they were your worst income, put a number 20 next to it, or 10, whatever your lowest number is in that group. Do that for each of the 3 columns. Add that number up. That's going to point you in the direction of your niche. The lowest numbers in there are going to be your best clients who not only got on with you well, paid you the most, and sold quickly as well. Whereas the ones that are ranking 10, 20, whatever the number is, were probably a pain in the backside, probably didn't pay you enough, and probably took ages to sell. So therefore, we don't really want to go towards those people too much if we possibly can do. So for everybody else who is just launching at the moment, in fact, everybody in general, actually, put answers in the chat who you think your demographic is at the moment. So for example, who is Holly Price's ideal client, for example? Who is Helen's ideal client? Who's David's ideal client? So how old are they? Are they married? Are they an investor? Are they divorced? Are they all these things? So more specific you can be, the better with this. So answers in the chat. There is no right or wrong answer here. So go nuts. Okay, so we've got divorced, inherited, growing families. Okay, downsizers in their 60s. Families looking to upsize, 300 to 500 families, older individuals in a village, probate properties, nice and optimistic, families, age 30, 40s, couples, families, 354, 50s, millennials, social media aware, cool, like it, 50 to 60, retired, 500 to 600, families looking to upsize. So what I would do, so Ashley, I would just refine that down slightly because you're ticking quite a lot of boxes there. You've got divorce, inherited, and growing families. Most people are probably going to find themselves in that sort of remit at some point in the not too distant future. So I would either go for growing families. That's kind of the obvious one in reality, or you might go, probate / inherited sort of niche on there. We're trying to be specific here. What we don't want to be is try and be someone for everyone. We want to be for the right people, for the right client. They're like, oh my God, Holly, you are the expert in X, Y, and Z. So therefore, we are selling our property because I align with you not only in the area, but also with regard to my style of person, my style of property. We're just going to get on. I get it. That's kind of what we're going for here. So, who should we pick on? I mean, choose as a volunteer. So Martin, seems like you can't get away from it at the moment, Martin. So only a few days ago. So talk us through your niche.
My niche. Well, I've literally just come up with it 2 minutes ago, but yeah, no, I think they value service more at that level of age, 50 to 60. They value honesty. They want you to be more transparent, so it's much easier to deal with them. And you can talk to them a little bit straighter. You don't have to go in and try and compete with other agents who are overvaluing, over-promising, and under-delivering.
Cool. Excellent. Right. So everybody, we're all going to help Martin out here. Answers in the chat. Imagine you were a 50 to 60-year-old retired and your house was worth between 500,000 and 600 grand. And you need to move house. So we're coming to you, and Martin's going to come around today, whether you like it or not, and he's going to say, we're putting your house on the market on Saturday, whether you like it or not. That sort of forced estate agency. That's where the business is. So what are all the problems you foresee in your life with your property going on the market, selling, moving property with someone who is 50 to 60 years old, retired in that sort of property? So answer in the chat, give me bad news, give me all the problems you can think of that that individual or that couple is going to go through in that sort of situation. And while you're doing that, one of the reasons we're doing this is because all business is based around fixing problems. The bigger the problem, the more you get paid to fix it. So effectively what we're looking at here is what's the problem with our ideal client? And in a minute, spoiler alert, we're going to look at how we can fix those problems. So resistance to change, worried about selling too fast, and no bungalows where to move to, not understanding the process, finding a property to downsize to, that's quite a common one, losing space in a property being available to meet their needs, can't find where they're looking to move to, too much stuff to clear, nowhere to go, don't know where to go, outdated perspective. Great. You've got lots of problems. Good news. Problems are good. We can fix problems. That's literally our job. So let's pick on a few of these. So one of the things that came up quite a few times is finding a place to buy. So answers in the chat. I'm a 50 to 60-year-old man and I'm moving out of my property. I've not moved out for a while. What are all the ways you can help me find my next property to solve that problem for ourselves? Yeah, Fallon saying the move go. Yeah. How else are you going to help me? So I'm worried, desperate, you might say, to find my next property. Reassured buyers, got to look and find, ask what they're looking for, explain timescales, talk me through, let's move together. Know your client, find out looking after letters. Yeah, fantastic. Good. That's some really good answers there. What we can do is that package that all together. So, Mr. Jones, Mr. 56-year-old person, you might be a little bit worried about finding your next property. Good news is we've got a solution for you. We've got a specialist home buying service that we do for people who are just in your position. Let me tell you what that involves. What we can do for yourself, we're going to go through and we can look at the map and you tell me individual rows that you like the look of. What we'll do completely free of charge is we'll send letters out to each of those properties in that road to say, I've got Mr. Jones who's desperate for a bungalow in your street. Not only that, Mr. Jones, I'll come around here later today when I drop off your post-market appraisal valuation letter, by hand, might add. And I'm going to come round and I'm going to print off lots of withdrawn properties that used to be on the market that I think would be absolutely perfect for yourself. So when I come around later today, we'll go through those bungalows together and you can highlight which ones you like the look of and which ones you don't like the look of. I can then write them a letter and then try and get your viewing on those individual properties. Think that would help you out at all? Yeah, I think it would. Okay, great. Fantastic. And the final thing we'll do is we'll put something on our social media accounts. We've got great engagement in the local area. And we'll just say we've got Mr. Jones looking for a bungalow in the local area and see if anyone bites on that side of things. So that's a free service to yourself. So I'm really, obviously, you've been here for a long time and you want to make sure the next room is right for yourself. So therefore, we've got this package we've designed specifically for you, people like you, Mr. Jones, and this is designed to help you get to your next property. Cool. He has a problem. We've just fixed it. Thank you very much. Good. Right. So let's pick on another one, shall we? So what else we got on here? So outdated perspectives. Okay. So Mr. Jones, you might not have moved for the last 15 years or so. Here is our guide to how to sell your property in 2024. Now, slight spoiler alert here. Go on ChatGPT, it will do this all for you. So you don't need necessarily to spend a long time writing a guide out for the over 60s about how to move in a property. Go on to ChatGPT and type in, imagine I'm a 60-year-old man or woman living in a bungalow at the moment and I'm looking to move for the first time in 30 or 40 years. Please write me down a guide of all the things I need to be aware of in that process going forward. Copy and paste into Canva. Put your logo in the corner. Hey presto, you're a marketing genius. So there's lots of things we can do here to outsource this workload. Right, so too much stuff to clear. Fantastic. So we're talking about property presentation, we're talking about cleaning, we're talking about all this sort of bits and pieces. On the market appraisal, Mr. Jones, one of the concerns you must have is obviously you've been in this property for a long period of time and you've got lots of bits inside the property. We actually have a relationship with a cleaning company already. We can recommend them to you. Actually, you can either do, we've got a 20% discount baked into our fee already that you can speak to them directly, or part of our service in general is getting your property clean and tidy. Awesome. Okay, great. So we've come forward. He's got problems. We've got solutions. Right, let's pick a different example, shall we? So I think Mr. Jones, the old man, has had a bit of a hard time. So let's pick on someone else, shall we? Right, so who did probate? George. So talk us about your niche, George. A nice optimistic one with probate.
We tend to get a lot of probate properties within the village, either from direct from the families or from solicitors.
Cool, excellent. Right, so let's go a bit dark here. So imagine you get a phone call tomorrow saying that someone you love has died. Sorry, I told you to get very dark very quickly. Write down all the problems you're going to have in your life going forward because you've got a bungalow in Slough, which you've just discovered has been dropped in your lap that you've got to deal with. What are all the issues that you've got as a executor of that will that you've now got to sort out? Okay, finding a solicitor, paying for ongoing heating and bills, absolutely. No idea what to do. House is too far away. Project application, estate management. Yeah, busy job, busy life. Ain't nobody got time for that. Absolutely. Good. Accidental landlord potentially. Emotional ties. Yep, absolutely brilliant. Good. Right, so let's look at some of the main bits. So, for example, the person who usually deals with it is you, the person who lives closest to the property. So if you happen to live 100 miles away and your brother and sister live 200 miles away, congratulations, you have drawn the short straw. You are going to that property. So therefore, you are the one going to be dealing with it. Do you have any idea about the local property market? No. It's probably your mum's house or your grandma's house you probably visited every Christmas, and that's probably about it. So A, there's a knowledge gap on the local marketplace. Also, there is a cleaning and tidying up issue. There's an emptying the property issue. There's a communication issue as well. Because, for example, you might be meeting with one of the executors, but there might be two, three, four other executors behind the scenes. So how can we improve our chances of not only getting instructed, but also to improve the customer journey from start to finish to make sure that one person isn't the pinch point for everything going forward? Because if that was me, I'd be like, oh, I've got a full-time job. I haven't got time to tell my brother and sister about what's going on with my grandmother's property, for example. So how can we see that problem and then fix it? WhatsApp group, that's a really good place to start. So first thing I'd be looking to do is after the market appraisal, record a video. Literally record a video and saying, yeah, perfect, Holly. For record, get all contact details, send WhatsApp messages, video, set up a video call or a joint call. Perfect. So go on the market appraisal, meet with the brother, whatever it may be. Great. Who else is involved in the sale of this property? Well, it's my brother, it's my sister, it's my cousin. Great. What's their contact details? What I'm going to do for you, Mr. Jones, is I'm going to set up a WhatsApp group for your family right now. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to record a video just talking about what we've talked about today, because I appreciate they ask you a lot of questions about value of the properties, fees, how we're going to market it, etc., etc. I'm going to record a video. I'm just going to send that across to your family so they know who I am or what I'm about. Then we've got the WhatsApp group, so they do have any questions, they can come back to myself straight away. So that therefore you are not the pinch point in this communication. We can then share it out from there. Would that help you out? Yeah, absolutely. It would do. Thank you very much. So there's so many things we can do in our business as soon as we know what problems we've got. But to know what problems we've got, we need to understand our niche as well. So for example, I think someone mentioned family homes though. So let's do one last one. So for a family home, so I imagine most people have got a family in some way, shape or form. So if I was going to take a property on the market on Saturday this week, bearing in mind it's now Thursday, what are all the things that you think, oh my God, that is going to be an issue? So what's the dramas with listing a family home relatively short notice? What are all the problems we can have? God, you know it's serious when you get repaint. Blimey, what's going on in your house, Holly? How bad are these kids?
Oh, don't. I like that is what I would be doing. I would be repainting the whole house.
So we've got declutter, clean, repaint, we've got tidying up, we've got kids to organize round, we've got facilitate viewings, loads and loads and loads of things. Dogs, absolutely. Perfect. So how can we fix these problems then? So how can we fix the problem of kids? So people got kids. The average per person's got two kids, for example, and we need to do viewings around their property. How can we make that part of our service that we can minimize the effect with people who have kids, so therefore it's a more kind of kids friendly sort of situation? There we go. We've alluded to some good stuff here. Back-to-back viewings. You could do a launch day and say, actually, I am the family expert for this area. And I specifically service my clients who are in this location, but also families as well. So you want to go with my family moving option. And that is where we have a launch day for your home on the Saturday. Reason we do this is A, generate as much interest to your property as possible, generate as much interest and views and money as possible, but also it's more friendly family for your business, for your family. So basically what we're going to do in that situation is minimize the amount of time you spend tidying your property and getting your property all ready. What's better than that? Again, we've got a relationship with the local cleaner as well. So if you're worrying about having your property clean and tidy, we have a relationship with Mrs. Jones's cleaning company around the corner, and either that's included or you get some sort of discount with it as well. Great. Okay. And what's your plans for the day when you do go out with your kids? And as George has put a really good thing in the chat, cinema voucher. Great. What are your plans for the day with your kids? Well, we'll probably take them to the local soft play. Fantastic. There's a 20% discount. We've organised it for you already. Or there's a cinema ticket for you guys. Or do you want to go to the pub? Great. Well, there's a free starter on ourselves. It doesn't take much work for yourselves, but all it's done is to speak to your clients, understand what their needs and their wants are, and then work your product backwards from there. The easiest way to find out what the pain points of these things are is speak to your clients. And it's really, really obvious because you know what your niche is. And once you've done your list of your 10 people, you can go, right, well, it's Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Taylor, and Bob, who are my best clients to speak to. Great. Well, let's talk to those individuals and not with regard to try and get decent feedback. This isn't a phone call where you're trying to get a 5-star Google review from them. It's a phone call where you're saying to them, what were the painful parts of the process? Which bits did you struggle at? How do you define the communication from our business? How could we improve that, for example? So putting across what are your pain points? So we know for our next clients, yeah, my clients 2 weeks ago, they told me exactly the same thing you said about being a pain in the backside having to get their kids out. This is what we've organized for it. Yeah, I had clients 3 weeks ago who had dogs, and this is what we organized for them, and it worked really, really well. So effectively, you're aligning your product as much as you possibly can do with the individuals you work with. Everyone happy with that? That all make sense? There we go. Good. I mean, it doesn't take much work. It just takes about thinking about what people's sort of issues are effectively. So what on a slight tangent, but it's going to be very important for yourselves. I'm sure lots of you struggle for what to talk about on social media now and again, even though we work in one of the most interesting, apparently, topics when it comes to social media. So if you know what your client's problems are, your job is to offer value. And a good way of offering value is to answer those questions. So you can go through an exercise which is called 99 Problems, which is not a Jay-Z song, apparently. It is where you literally write down all the problems your client's going to go through. So I know my clients are all families. Great. Okay. Well, what issues the family's got? Right. Well, should I do my painting and decorating? What do I do with my dog? How long's the viewing going to last for? How long before you put it on the market? Do I give you a key? What happens with X? What happens with Y? And write these problems down. Your job in your social media is to answer those questions. And if you want a real sort of bonus hack on top of that as well, if you put it into, there's different ways you can put across the same message on social media. So you could do a video, you could do a picture, you could do a funny meme, you could do loads of stuff. So there's like 4, 5, 6 different options. You do a little video clip, etc., for each of the topics. So let's say, for example, the topic is, should Holly Price do her painting and decorating before she goes on the market? Great. Well, I could do a picture with Holly and a paintbrush in her hand saying, should you do your painting and decorating before you start? I could get a video with Holly saying, hi, it's Holly here. I'm doing my painting and decorating before I put my property on the market. You could do some AI generated image of a person with a paintbrush painting their house. You could do loads, you can interview with Holly saying, Holly, do you think you should paint your house before you go on the market? It's the same message, but it's just in different formats on your social media. So if you've got 99 problems and you've got 5 different ways of saying that, you've got 99 times 5 bits of content to go on your social media. So we'll round that up to the nearest 500. That will keep you going for about the next 2 years. And in 2 years' time, just start at the bottom again and work your way back around. So you've literally got endless content on that sort of things just by answering those questions and solving those problems. Right. Everyone think that's a good idea? Good. Excellent. Double thumbs up. That's what we like. Very atomic consultancy. Right. So one last thing we're going to talk through. So we looked at the sales funnel earlier on, and we looked at kind of the bits in the top, and then we looked at kind of refilling the top of that. Now, the bad news is at any one time, that's about 5% of your entire marketplace. So that thing we looked at earlier, all the different market appraisals, etc. If I looked at the whole of York, for example, or Harrogate, for example, that is about 5%. 95% is people who have no intention at the moment of selling their property. So they're people that are, yeah, again, unless they get a death, divorce, lottery win, whatever it may be, then they will look to sell. Your job is to drag as many of those people from that 95% into your 5% you possibly can do. Because we spoke about earlier that most people in the general public can only name 3 estate agents. So how do we make sure that we're one of those 3 for those 95% of people that aren't in our sales funnel at the moment? So what we're going to talk about now is how we get involved with that as much as we possibly can do. So in my mind, anybody who looks to move house, it's a 12-month journey. First 6 months, thinking about it, driving around areas, stalking estate agents, looking through windows, all that sort of stuff, not actually doing any sort of real stuff effectively. Second 6 months, valuations, viewings, all that sort of stuff. So that's kind of where it kicks into. So our job is to get in front of them in the first 6 months as much as possible. So actually, when you're requesting, do you want a market appraisal today? They've kind of missed you out for the last 6 months already. So we want to get dragged into that part as much as we possibly can do. So what we're going to try to do here is lower the bar of entry to being involved with your business. The current bar of entry to being involved with your business is, do you want a market appraisal? Which is basically code for saying, do you want a complete stranger to come around your property and look where you sleep at night? That is not a particularly low bar in the grand scheme of things. The other bar is, do you want to view a property? Which is, do you want to be the stranger going around someone else's house and see where they sleep at night? That is a pretty high bar of entry. So what we're going to try and do with this next exercise is drag that down as much as we possibly can do. So what people are going to end up doing is just be like, yeah, I might think about moving. Yeah, just a little wave to say I might be on the horizon at some point in the future. We want to kind of start getting those little waves from the public to start off with. So in the future, we know who might be looking to sell and interact with our business. So we talked already about our niche. So let's use the family side of things. That's a nice, easy one. So what are all the things that you can offer out for free that would help families in the local area? So if I move to York, for example, tomorrow, or Harrogate for tomorrow, for example, the Isle of Wight tomorrow, and I had a family, what are all the things that might help me out? Bearing in mind, you guys are a local expert on the area. You know every school, every restaurant, every dog walk, everything else. Cool. So you guys, there we go. Right. We're going to run with this big time. So what we can look at here is to look at it and go, right, we are the local expert. So therefore, it's our job to hand out that sort of expert knowledge to the public. Now, I'll show you literally how easy this is in a minute. So don't worry, this sounds very complicated, but it really isn't. What you're going to produce is free content that you can give away. So lead magnet would be the official term. So anything you can give away that people are going to wave back at you and go, yeah, I'll take your bit of content. And they kind of wave a little flag to say they might be potentially interested in working with yourself in the future. So if I was a family, for example, things that might be interesting to me, right, if I move to York tomorrow, where could I walk my dog in York? If it was half term, where can I take my kids in half term? Where are the best restaurants in York? Where are the best bars in York? What are the best things to do in the Christmas break? Where can I see Father Christmas in York this year? What events are coming up in school? What school events are coming up in York? All these things, so much stuff we can put on there, which are just like, yeah, fantastic. Do you want this? We produced it for free. Now, let me tell you how this is going to work. So effectively what we're going to do is produce some sort of guide. So let's use, I don't know, where's Father Christmas in York this year? And you can do it literally list down 5 places where you can meet Father Christmas in York this year. Bang on your social media. Hi guys, we've created a free bit of content here about where you and your family can meet Father Christmas this year. If you like a copy of this, like this post. Now, as if by magic, people are going to start liking your post. They're like, yeah, great. We love families and kids and Christmas. You can put it into local groups as well for local neighborhoods and community and all that sort of stuff as well, because you're not selling in any way, shape, or form. But you've just said, like this post. So our bar of entry has gone from being a stranger around a stranger's house through to like this post. That is a low bar. What you can then do is anybody who has liked the post, message them directly saying, hi, thanks for liking our post all about where Father Christmas is at the moment. Just so I can send that across to you, what's your email address? And as if by magic, you've got their name, you've got their email address, and they live locally. We've dragged them down into our sales funnel as if by magic. So you can rinse and repeat this as much as you possibly like. This is going to be super easy for you to create as well. ChatGPT is going to be your super best friend. Because all you need to do is go on to ChatGPT and say, please write me a guide of the top 10 places to walk your dog in York. And it will go, job done, go on to Canva, copy, paste. Dear ChatGPT, what events are coming up in the next 2 months that I can take my kids to? Thank you very much. Really easy to reduce that amount of content. It's not, you can slightly brand it up, slightly maybe put a logo in the corner, but it shouldn't be overly shoutily, your sort of thing. But it's all about giving that value out. Because again, our biggest problem, does anybody even know who we are? And if people go, oh, I recognize you, you're Martin, you're that nice estate agent, you sent me that guide 2 months ago. Cool. Absolutely perfect. That's absolutely great. That is far better than I've got no idea who any estate agents are in the local area. It's one of the biggest tricks that people are missing currently in the estate agency world. Well, one of two is giving away free stuff. And it's really easy to do. So people know you, they like you, they trust you. People like being given things because it's a nice freebie. So that, and they also feel like they owe you something for you doing it as well, even if it was just 10 minutes on ChatGPT. I mean, that's a good idea. Easy to implement. Once you've done one, it's like you're off to the races. Like, honestly, it's really super easy on that side of things. Right, so we're on the home straight. So where are we up to? Right, so one last thing. So we are going to talk about how to become the digital mayor, very American, of your town. So what are all the ways I would like you to ignore, what's what I'm looking for here? Societal pressures. So ignore what anyone else thinks. I don't care what anyone else thinks. That's why I do podcasts and books and videos and stuff like that. I couldn't give a monkeys. And that's one of my biggest strong points in business, that I don't give a monkeys. So imagine you don't give a monkeys in any way, shape, or form. What are all the ways you can think of to be well known in your local area? And please don't write kill someone and be on the news, because that is not a good way of getting well known. You will be well known, but not necessarily for good things. So local events, good. Because we want you to be the local celebrity. I want everyone to know who you are. I want you to go to Marks and Spencer's and people will be like, I've seen your video and I've seen your this. Local fairs, talk to local businesses, think bigger. Community events, work with local coffee shops, yeah. Leaflets in the takeaway, yeah. Everyone loves takeaway. Coffee shops, yeah. Good. FC groups, that FB groups. Right, article for the school paper. Wow, there we go. I like that one a lot. So one of the lowest hanging fruit for most estate agency businesses is PR. Basically, appearing in the paper. So really easy to do. Again, I feel like it's an advert for ChatGPT, but ChatGPT will write this letter for you. So, dear ChatGPT, I'm a local estate agent. I would like to be considered an authority on property in my town. Please write a letter to the local newspapers saying that if you've got any articles about property or housing, please can they call on me to be a source of information for it. Send. As if by magic, the newspapers will come to you and go, Holly, there's a new housing project being built in York. What are your thoughts on it? Or what are your thoughts on the current housing market, Holly? And suddenly you are featured in the York Times on your website as if by magic. So we got lots of things about being involved in local businesses. What do all local businesses want? More clients, more exposure. They want more people outside their front door. Money, absolutely. More money, more clients. They want more. So if I came to you and said, Holly, I've got a podcast which goes out and about 1,000 local people listen to it on a monthly basis. And we can talk about how long you've lived in York for, how much you like York. Would you be interested in coming on it for half an hour or so? Really super easy. And as a man who has a podcast, I spend about outside of recording it, which takes like half an hour, probably 15 minutes a week doing it. Really super easy. It's not as complicated as anyone's going to let you to believe, sort of thing. So you can literally very quickly become a local celebrity by interviewing local businesses. So instead of saying to businesses, can I give you a business card and can I do this? Can I do that? Great. Hi, local business. I've got a podcast which is called The York Podcast. So then one types in York or podcast, guess who comes up? You then speak to local businesses and say, I've got a podcast. Would you like to come on and talk about how much you love living in York? And you can also talk about your business as well. How does that sound? It's all over Zoom. So you don't need to, don't need to come see us. Don't spend any money on it at all. It's over there, over Zoom, get it recorded, put it into a podcast. Away we go. How's that sound? You can then, if you're feeling really clever about it, and I'm very aware we've got 5 minutes left, feeling super clever about it, you can take that full video, bang it into a clip generating bit of software like Opus or something like that. That will produce many little clips for you, all about that business, the local area, what they're doing in the local town. You've just created endless content. Congratulations. So it's very hard not with a digital mayor when you're appearing in the paper, when you've got a podcast called the York Podcast, you're dealing all the local events, you're giving away content in the local area, and you're also an estate agent on the side of it. Really super easy. So if you want some big wins that no one's doing at the moment, give away stuff, have a local podcast. So people might have seen I've got a picture of me and Daniel Daggers on my social media today. He was very happy to have a picture, obviously. And the big thing that Daniel said in his talk is that if you're not making your digital footprint online, other people are. So trust me, you've got two choices today. Either you take action and do the stuff we've talked about today online and start making your digital impression better, or you look back in about 2, 3, 4 months' time, 6 months' time, when another agent starts doing the stuff we've talked about today, and you're like, I should have done that 6 months ago. So the sooner you do it, you've got the earlier mover advantage. So basically, they're copying you. You've done the right stuff, and they're trying to catch up with you. Good idea? Good. Holly, you'd be great at a podcast, by the way, on a side note. You'd be very good at it. Right, we have a whopping 3 minutes left. So feel free, if anyone wants to come off mute and ask any question whatsoever, it doesn't have to be about lead generation specifically. You can try and catch me out. That's always quite fun. You can ask anything you like. Now is your moment. If not, then we will wrap it up for the day. So feel free if you have got any questions, go nuts. If you don't, then you don't. Right, there we go. That was nice and easy. Right, so just let you guys know a couple of things. First of all, we're all big on improving and making these better and better every single time. So I have my glamorous, I wouldn't say assistant, I mean basically boss at this point, Shanae, who will be giving you a call either tomorrow or on Monday. She's gonna be saying, did you enjoy the webinar? Did you get lots of value from it? What can we improve next time? So obviously we're all about making these as good as we possibly can do. And obviously these are completely free. So the only thing I would ask in a very slight way is if you do get 10 seconds today and you haven't done so already, I've just put our Google review in the chat. So if you get 2 seconds today, any Google review would be appreciated. Anything below 5 stars is a slap in the face though. So I put that in the chat. Obviously, any questions on anything we've covered at all today in any way, shape, or form, I'm sure lots of you follow me on social media. Just slide into my DM, send me a message, and I'll come back to you as quick as I possibly can do. Have a super day, guys. I enjoy the sunshine/rain. Yesterday.
Just have a look at the chats. I just see Kevin's asked a question.
Ah, very well done. Being a new estate agent, what advice going into an information pack since I can't boast about homes I've sold? Good question. Do you mean, Kevin, do you want to come off mute? Do you mean when you go and value a property, I presume? Do you mean like your comparables, or what do you mean going out with you? Yeah, you're on mute still. I will just guess otherwise. I'm going to guess. Being a new estate, what would you advise going to information pack? So it depends if you're a one-person band or not. If you're doing comparable research, it doesn't necessarily need to be properties that you've sold. So if you're going to value a property, for example, it doesn't need to be, I've sold this one, I've sold that one, I've sold that one. Obviously, it's really good if you can put that message across. But in reality, if you're just taking comparables with you, you can go through with the homeowner, they don't necessarily have to be your ones. So what I'd be including in a market appraisal pack is on comparable research, sold prices for that street, a sold and withdrawn research for that street as well, and an up-to-date market comparable report about what's sold over the last 3 months or so. So sort of historical stuff for that street over the last kind of 10 years or so, and then basically what the competition is if you go on the market today. So that's kind of bang up to date. Outside of that, if you have got some sort of literature about how you present properties, for example, so if you've sold a house recently, that can be your sort of go-to set of details to take with you to use in that pack as well. So hopefully that answers your question. Fingers crossed it does. Good. Right. Oh, there you go. You're more than welcome, Kevin. Excellent, guys. Have a fantastic day. Enjoy trying to dodge the rain today. Welcome to Britain in the sunshine. I'll catch up with you guys soon. Have a fantastic day.